So when I was 17 and I was graduating from school, the headmaster said to all of us, you're going to be working in a job that doesn't yet exist. And at the time I was thinking, I'm going to be an astronaut. And then I'm like, no, idiot, that exists. But he was right. Like, you think about like the internet wasn't really around back then. And the world has changed dramatically since then. And it was pretty smart thinking, I think, from the headmaster. I don't know what the point is. I think the point was continually learn to adapt and change. And anyway, throughout my career, I've done lots of different things. And one of the things I did, and which I love, was social media. In fact, I brought the first social media account, which first time we ever did it was at Hewlett-Packard. I brought Twitter to HP and made a couple of mistakes, which I share in this podcast. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Didn't feel like it at the time. But social media is a really difficult job. And most social media managers are ridiculously undervalued for what they do, because you've got to create posts that are really interesting for the millennials and don't disrespect the elderly. And then you've got to provide customer support to people because you're the front line evangelizing a brand, and yet people are like trolling and writing ridiculous comments. And then when you get it wrong, it blows up in the news. It's actually a really, really difficult job. And I don't think social media managers get enough credit for what it is that they do.
All platforms are emerging kind of out of nowhere, and you don't know what's going to catch on or what's going to, be a maybe fly by night type deal. But you're not an expert. And that's what I kind of like about it, right? You always have to be learning. You always have to be staying up on top of things. Things are constantly evolving. You have to challenge yourself, because what works on Monday might not work on Friday. And what was there on Thursday might be taken away by Tuesday.
In this podcast, we have a lot of fun. We talk about some of the mistakes he's made, but we also talk about like what he does on a day-to-day, how difficult it is, the types of tools that he uses. And I think what's also really interesting is we go into some of the things that we did during the pandemic to pivot, and how we went live with so many different events, and how he gamified some of these events. And there's some really cool ideas in there for you if you're running events, and I guess how you can just be more interesting when it comes to social media. John got in the car.
Yeah.
It's made for kids, and drove around the event taking videos and waving to everyone saying hi. So this is a great podcast. I hope you like it. There's a few lessons in there. And maybe at the end of this, you'll have a little more appreciation for the social media directors and managers out there that do a superb job. Go hug a social media manager today.
When I was at Northeastern, kind of that was when the Facebook was kind of starting up around that same time. And it's like, this thing sucks. This is never going anywhere. Like the UI.
This is going to be big. I think I might find a career in this.
Oh no! It's like the UI is like horrible. No one's like really on it. Like, what is this thing? Totally forgot about it. And this is why I'm doing a podcast here with you instead of somewhere on a tropical island. But I regret nothing.
We don't start any podcast like we're meant to start podcasts, do we, John?
Never.
Or webinars. Actually, when we did a webinar together, did it happen where I swore within the first 3 seconds?
That's accurate. Yes.
And then, because you're the most amazing social media legend on the planet, you then ran a poll as to when I would swear again, and would I swear in the next episode within the first 20 seconds. And what happened?
You made sure to get that out in the first 1 second. I think it was the first thing you said.
You coerced me into doing it.
Of course.
So everyone, we're joined today by a very good friend of ours, John Rocker, who is are you the social media director now? You've been promoted to all things
social media. Director of social media director, guy who plays online.
About time that the social people got more recognition for what they do. Joining me also is a fellow co-host, and we've nearly celebrated 1 year of podcasting together. Claire Palmer. Claire, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Dave. Hey, John.
Are you happy
Hey,
to be
Claire.
back talking to an old friend?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh, ouch. Ouch.
Yeah, I know. I'm not
I
sure which
do,
part she
John,
wasn't
that was-
liking. Was she not liking you or me?
I'm not exactly sure. I'm a little hurt.
Oh,
Oh,
gosh.
no, not you, John.
Oh, me. Definitely me. That's great, Claire. It's really good to
know,
have you
I
back.
just see you all the time. Okay.
Okay, is that like okay? Now let's get on with the podcast. So, John Rocker, let's be serious about what we're going to cover off today because I never write notes, but for Claire's purpose and for people that are going to get something out of this podcast, we wanted to get you on here because you're regarded in the industry in B2B IT as the best social media person on the planet, as voted by Claire and I. So, congratulations on your award.
Honored.
And we'll have a medal ceremony in the not too distant future. But we wanted to cover off today just the basics of social media and what people can get out of, like, you know, you work in a B2B tech organization with sort of, I don't know how many people now, 3,000, 4,000 people, things like sales advocacy, the tools that you use, the analytics platforms, the metrics that matter. And really importantly, I think the events. You've done a super job at gamifying events when they went digital, and came up with some crazy things that when I was emceeing made it so much fun for me to be able to see people dressed as, there was someone dressed as a dinosaur in Singapore on the edge of the water. Is that what I saw, or was I just sleep deprived?
We may have been sleep deprived, but I think there were some dinosaurs, there were some Ninja Turtles, a couple superheroes.
Ninja Turtle. It was a Ninja
There was a
Turtle.
unicorn. We even had a unicorn.
There's always a unicorn in B2B tech. There's
There's
quite a
always a
few.
unicorn.
Not so many these days, though. I think they're getting rid of them.
Too many.
And yeah, there's too many unicorns. So, John, why social media? Well, let's do a little bit of background. Let's talk actually first a little bit about who you are and the short backstory as to how you landed at Dynatrace and maybe what Dynatrace is and what you do.
Yeah, short backstory on me. So, as you can probably tell from the shirt, Celtics fan. So, grew up in the Boston area. Go Celtics.
Boston. Sorry.
And so I went to Northeastern University, which is located in downtown Boston. My background was in media studies. So growing up, I was very into videography, production, TV, stuff like that. So I kind of had inklings of maybe getting involved in that for a career, minored in journalism. And somehow those kind of things blended and meshed together at the perfect time, kind of right when I was exiting university to enter this field of marketing, which eventually migrated over to social media, which I always kind of laugh at. So I was on when I was at Northeastern, kind of that was when the Facebook was kind of starting up around that same time. And it's like, this thing sucks. This is never going anywhere. Like the UI.
This is going to be big. I think I might find a career in this.
Oh no! It's like
this is
the UI is like horrible. No one's like really on it. Like, what is this thing? Totally forgot about it. You know. And this is why I'm doing a podcast here with you instead of somewhere on a tropical island. But I regret nothing. But yeah, so kind of coming out of university, found my way, working for a healthcare facility, doing community relations, marketing, and eventually moved over to the Game Show Network in a social media role there, and that's really kind of how things jump started. So at that time, Facebook gaming was really huge all across the board. Zynga with their poker and, Farmtown and all this other good stuff. And that was kind of where I got into social media. And that's where I've been for about the last 10, 11 years or so. So in gaming, over in higher education, kind of working on the boutique side of things, and then over into finance, which is always kind of fun to think about how social media and finance go together, and eventually
how does it go
not
together?
well.
Did
it go all right?
It did. It kind of went okay. If you can smooth talk your way into things like I can sometimes. I don't know how it happens, but you make friends with legal, and it's amazing how things kind of just work out that way. There's your first thing, right? That's probably the biggest hint that you need in social media, right? Make the legal team your friends, and good things happen.
That's
but
not
after
just
that,
for social. That's for everyone, actually. Everyone in every company. It was only yesterday I did a LinkedIn post that I said hello to like one of my main people that I used to work with on LinkedIn. I like you so much. Sorry, not LinkedIn. Legal. I miss you. Get someone in finance, someone in legal, and someone in marketing operations. They're really good people to have. People that know how to use the other half of the brain.
Yep, they make your life easy, and all of those folks have made life easy here at Dynatrace. So after I decided, finance, maybe not for social media, came on board here at Dynatrace. Been here almost 5 years now, and yeah, social media has really kind of taken off in the past few years. It's been a wild ride, wild journey. Lots of things are always happening, changing, but definitely, as you mentioned, like being in B2B tech, it's an interesting kind of space to be in with social media. But if you got a passion for it like I do, and you're willing to try things and have fun, you can turn people into advocates, and it has a lot of impact for you.
What's cool about it? Because B2B tech is a bit like, yeah. Do you ever, so you explain what you do, right? And your kids probably go like, my dad, he plays on social media all day. And so it'd be hard to explain to the kids that they're not allowed on social media when that's what you do for a living. But then they go like, you talk to parents and you go like, so I work at this company called Dynatrace. Like my dad still to this day thinks it's called Dynatrack. And it isn't 100% sure. Like, do your parents, Claire, do they
Oh
know
yeah, no,
what Dynatrace does?
no,
No, no. And so
I've stopped explaining it.
no, and there's probably half the sales reps still don't really know how to explain it too. But yeah, it's not Apple or like Nike or the Celtics where your passion is. Is it still as much fun?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing that I love about social media and why I'm kind of still doing what I'm doing is it's always changing. It's constantly evolving. There's always something new popping up. I mean, right before we hopped on here, Claire brought up TikTok, for good or bad, but right, all platforms are emerging kind of out of nowhere, and you don't know what's going to catch on or what's going to be a maybe fly by night type deal. But you're not an expert, and that's what I kind of like about it, right? You always have to be learning. You always have to be staying up on top of things. Things are constantly evolving. You have to challenge yourself because what works on Monday might not work on Friday, and what was there on Thursday might be taken away by Tuesday. So you always have to be on your toes. You have to be creative. And if you're willing to roll with it, you can have fun with it. And that's if you're someone who doesn't like the mundane, this is probably something that's for you because you're always doing so much and everything's constantly changing. So you always have a new challenge ahead of you, and that's what I find exciting about it.
Are you addicted to social media? Like
I
even when you're not on, are you on?
I am not addicted to it, so I try to stay off of it if I'm not working outside of sports season. Then it's straight to Twitter, and Dave, you know how it is.
I have to warn him. I warn him. So like the Celtics are playing, right? And I sometimes are catching up on a game and I messaged John and I didn't mean to say don't post anything on Twitter, but I was like,
You did.
don't share anything. I haven't seen the game. I'll be catching up at half time.
I've done
Like
that
give me a moment to catch up. Don't message me on WhatsApp. And I think I wrote don't message anything on Twitter. And John, being a nice guy that he is, who rants
Yep.
on Twitter about the referees all the time, just says, okay, I won't post anything today.
It was
And I was
hard.
like,
It was hard.
You should just.
I don't want to ruin the viewing experience for everybody, so I can get off it if I need to.
Yeah, right.
But I do. That's where I get my updates. All I need is John because now, for some reason, it just knows and Twitter will pop up and all I see immediately
reason.
is like straight away, it'll be like John goes, another third quarter fallout or the referees are like, and I go, God, they lost. Oh, there's no point watching it now.
Oh, no, that's them being up by 20.
Yeah.
The neurosis of a sports fan.
I sometimes delete them when I feel like I just am checking them too much. So just like
social media accounts.
Yeah, no, like just the app off my phone. I can just download it again.
Oh,
I do that.
It's another workaround. Do you have TikTok?
No.
You don't have it on your phone at all?
No.
If I grabbed your phone and looked in it, there'd be no TikTok.
No.
Have you ever downloaded
it? Yes, to check because my daughter wanted it.
Yeah.
And I was trying to see if there's a way she could be on it safely, and there's not.
What about you, John?
Until she's 13.
I do have it. I don't use it frequently. Usually, I'm probably on there maybe once or twice a month, and then I go look at my messages, and there's about 75 things that people have sent me. It's like, oof, I've missed this here and there.
So one of the things that you do in social media, and I know, and disclosure as well, like John and I work together. So, and I used to be the social media manager, I think.
Yeah.
Did
you
I?
Did.
I did, yeah. God, I was doing bad. No, I really enjoyed it. My best posts were at Friday night when I'd had a couple of wines. and I just post ridiculous things, and they'd get the most engagement. And then I would go, because it'd be morning for America, so I'd just be posting things like 6 o'clock on a Friday night, like, yeah, how many monitors? Too many monitors, and some ridiculous meme, and it would get heaps of engagement, and I'd have heaps of typos, and I'd go, oh man, really shouldn't do this. But one of the things that you do as a social media person is you're constantly scouring the internet for things that are going on to find inspiration, right?
Yeah.
Are brands using TikTok? Like, are other brands using it? And then therefore, are you going, maybe like, is Dynatrace using TikTok, or do you have people asking you, should you use it? That was a long question, wasn't
I
it?
wish I
Was
had
that the longest question ever?
A few questions.
How many questions is it? It's
that was
good,
like
though.
4. My brain can't comprehend
I
everything.
know. I got to get better. You'd think after a year I'd get better at this podcasting, but I don't know. I don't know
like,
if it's working yet.
Just ask one question.
All right, land the
So
plane,
let's
Dave.
see.
Land the plane.
Are brands using TikTok? Yes.
Yes, that was a question. Yep.
Yeah, come on, all brands.
But B2B brands is sort of where I went to eventually. So I kind of got to Dynatrace.
There are some B2B brands that I have seen using it. Of course, you always try to keep your eye out, particularly on direct competitors, and then also just anyone on the landscape to see what they're doing there. Dynatrace does have a TikTok. I did secure, the name for it just in case. And there have been no shortage of people on a daily basis saying, "We've got to get a TikTok. We've got to get a TikTok." And
are they young or are they older?
It's a mix.
Who are these people asking?
It is a mix. I will reveal no identities or age. Just say that there's a nice medium.
Fair.
So on the scale, it's all there. But it's, of course, with every new platform, I mean, you can't just dismiss it immediately. You have to do your diligence. You have to take a look at it. Does it make sense for your company, for your users, for your target market, et cetera? So while, never say never, I can't imagine there's many 12 to 18-year-olds maybe on TikTok checking out Dynatrace for cloud automation and things of that nature. But there are college kids on there that might be looking for an opportunity. They're graduating soon. They're looking to get into the field or whatnot. So I potentially see it maybe more for something like Dynatrace or maybe others in that B2B space as a strong recruitment play.
We have weird jobs. Even when I was doing like evangelist roles, it was like, what do you do for a living? I go, well, I do videos and podcasts and influence people to buy products and things like that. And social media manager is like, so what do you do? And you're like, well, I cut up videos and I post content and engage and reply and write funny like memes. What are your goals? What are you like when you sit down and you go, this is what I'm doing this quarter? On a serious note, as a social media director, what are you responsible for? What are your goals?
Yeah, you think about social media, and it's everyone just says that, right? The always joke is, oh, so you just post on Facebook all day, haha. Yeah, that's what we do. But really, there's so much. I wrote a piece on LinkedIn like many moons ago, just kind of talking about how social media people are really like, as they call them in baseball, like 5-tool athletes. They can hit for power, they can hit for average, they can field, they can throw, they can run. So they're the perfect package. So you can make any sports analogy that you want. But right, thinking about that, social media people, they're creating content. Some of them are doing design, some of them are doing videography, photography. They're doing editing. They're doing customer service. So there's kind of no shortage of things that you have going on. The big thing I'm always worried about, right? Consistency. Making sure the content that's being produced and put out is high quality. It's generating engagement, it's driving conversation. Being in the B2B space, you're always, of course, wondering, what does this mean in terms of getting people over to a particular, website or to an event or to a webinar? Is it driving, qualified leads for our sales team? Is it actually generating any type of revenue? So I'm always kind of thinking about, those kind of end metrics, which seems probably odd for social media, right? You just think you're caring about, are my followers going up? Am I getting 100 likes on this post? But those are great. But ultimately, being in the space that I'm in, I'm kind of thinking about what's beyond that.
What tools do you use to measure your engagement and like what have you got in your toolkit? Because you're a like you said, you're a jack of all trades. What did you say about the baseball analogy again?
It's like a 5-tool player. You have all the skills. You can hit, you can throw, you can field, you can run.
All right. So
I can't do all those, but
you got your bat, you got your glasses, your hat. What are the tools? What are your? It'd be funny if there were 5. But what are your go-to tools for like in your toolkit?
Yeah,
I did that question. I landed it. I nearly kept going.
You were
It
there.
was half.
It
It was
was
sort of
good.
there,
It
wasn't it?
was good. You just
Okay.
stopped.
Great.
That's good. So the first one, of course, I mean, you've got to have like a management tool, like a social media management platform. So
Hmm.
something like a Buffer or a Hootsuite or a Sprout or a Sprinkler. There's no shortage of kind of what those are. Currently, right now, Sprouts are our tool of choice for that management platform. So something that helps you build out a content calendar that can be shared across different teams. So you have a pretty clear view of what's getting posted, what day, what time, what channels, easily able to like kind of quickly pivot and move stuff out as you get that scheduled. There's also some great listening aspects in that. So you're always wanting to know what people are saying about your brand or others in the market. So to have a system or a tool that kind of helps aggregate that in one place that you can kind of filter down based off of keywords, things of that nature, are definitely a must. So, and as I said, Sprout right now is our tool of choice for that. I still utilize the platforms really heavily for the analytics, regardless of what kind of tools or platforms that you have. Everyone's a little bit quirky, so I'm a little bit paranoid, which I guess makes me pretty good at being able to do this a bit because I'm always over analyzing everything. But the platforms for me still have the best analytics. You're getting it directly from the source. There's kind of nothing going in. There's no other tool that are filtering things out or aggregating them in a way that you might not be looking to do. So I'm still a native puller of metrics as it comes to our own content. In terms of competitors, you have a lot of those other tools, like I mentioned, like the Sprout, Sprinklers, etc., that will aggregate a lot of that competitor data for you to kind of see how you're comparing against them, on a vanity metric. So how many followers, likes, engagements, and stuff that you're kind of getting. One day, I hope LinkedIn will join that foray and just make everyone's life a little bit easier to be
Are
pulling
they
in that
still
data
really
there.
difficult? Are
They,
they
they
still
still
like
have
their
their
overall?
API closed off, so you're only getting like your own metrics or some of those those management tools and everything else if you want to really have an accurate reporting for it on LinkedIn. Which for a lot of B2Bs, that's probably where their bread and butter is.
Yeah.
LinkedIn is probably their biggest presence where they're putting a lot of their focus, and it's really kind of a bummer you can't use another tool to be able to pull that and aggregate that all together. You have to do that manually.
Interesting.
But Sprouts there. There's a employee advocacy program. We used to use LinkedIn Elevate. Now we use Post Beyond. That's a great tool for us. We do a lot of live streaming. Dave, you're probably aware of. So a tool
Yes,
like
that's
Restream.
interesting. What's live streaming?
What is this thing?
What is this
So
live streaming
Restream
thing?
is a fantastic tool that we
It's really
use.
good.
Something later.com and link in bio is the kind of the tool that it's called that we use for like our Instagram, which was kind of a game changer when that came along,
Oh,
particularly for
what's
like
that
a
one again?
so that
Later.com.
it's later, but it's called link in bio. And there's a lot of
Oh,
the management platforms now kind of have their own kind of thing set up, but it's just a great way for you to be able to actually link off of Instagram. So if there's blogs or if there's
oh,
events or there's kind of things that you want to be able to just link off to before you just have to manually update that little bio area that was like super horrible. But now they've got this great platform. You can kind of use that. People can click through on that link in bio in your bio area, and it's this beautiful visual feed of all the posts that you've had shared to your Instagram. And if there's anything that's clickable or linked out, they can just easily click that right there, and they'll get taken to the source. So for someone like me in social media who is looking to kind of track traffic and leads and be able to figure out what can we do with our Instagram to see what kind of impact it has in terms of business growth or recruitment, having a tool like that is fantastic because now we can UTM tag all that. We can track everything with that in our Google Analytics and see specifically what campaigns or what posts may have had the biggest impact as opposed to others. So it helps dictate strategy. Also, again, helps with our measurement towards the goals that we're working towards. So yeah, the social management tools, the things like Restream, the advocacy programs, those are definitely go-to tools that I'm on every single day.
Hmm.
So, John, you must get pulled into a lot of different initiatives because you're across sales, marketing, every part of the business. So, how do you prioritize what you get involved in,
Or
Yeah, I
not.
would say,
or not?
it's sometimes it's been a progress. I can now say that we probably reached a good spot where social media is becoming more earlier involved in those conversations with sales, products, engineering, whatever it may be. But it's not always the case. Some folks just social media is kind of not on the radar in terms of marketing or how it can be used. But I'm generally a pretty quiet person, but I can be a little bit persistent, and I push my way into kind of a lot of those conversations and bringing up social media. Like, have you thought about, how we can support this on this channel here, or we'd be able to leverage it in this way? We can kind of amplify what you're doing. So I just try to get myself in front of as many folks as I can. And the motto that I really kind of push off whenever I'm having conversations with folks or doing trainings is, I help manage social media, for this company, but every employee has a stake in what we do.
Yeah, you're really well regarded in that respect, I think, at Dynatrace for running really interesting training sessions where people, I often used to get feedback that the social media sessions were really good. What's so interesting about what you're telling people?
I pay them. No,
I
right.
knew
I
it.
mean,
It
I
was
think
the
you're
same
kind of in
feedback
the.
coming from the same person.
I think you've kind of got the same like mentality in how you approach like trainings or sessions or get anything that you do when you go out and speak, and you try to make it engaging and fun, tying everything back into how this is going to benefit them, but doing it in a fun way that has videos. We've got gifs, we've got memes, so it's
Yeah.
not maybe the standard traditional kind of session or presentation that you'd see. I mean, it's social media, so right, you've got to make it fun. You've got to make it kind of engaging. But again, just tying everything together in a way where ultimately this is why we're doing it. This is the benefit for us, and this is going to be the benefit for you. And I think if you can make that correlation and get people to understand that what they're doing actually has some sort of impact, as opposed to what is this Twitter post going to do for me or for Dynatrace? Well, let me show you exactly what it does, because this is a trail that it leads to. And at the end of the day, it led to this amount of dollars, this amount of opportunities, which is going to benefit you. It's going to benefit me. So let's do it.
Hey, so one of the things we did together was obviously everyone had to pivot events and went from physical to virtual, and so we were working together for I don't know 3-4 years doing physical events in different parts of the world and different cities, and then 2021
No, 2020.
2020.
was it, we did a perform.
Oh, yeah,
No,
the last, 21 was the
21 we
first.
decided
Yeah.
to we're going to do perform,
Sorry.
which is the big event for us, and we went, the whole thing's digital, and a lot of the team felt like they wanted it to be safe, and so they went, and for them, and this, I get frustrated with this, I get frustrated with all marketers that do this, so I hope I'm not offending anyone now, but I sort of understand they're risk adverse and they go, well, what's easy for us is if we just pre-record the content. And I go, well, that's just shit for the audience. Like, why would I turn up and watch a pre-recorded presentation in sequence for like 4 hours? I'd go watch cat videos on YouTube after about 3 minutes. I'd be bored. So what we decided to do together was go, hey, we've got to do this live. And I think us three morons thought it would be a brilliant idea to do the entire event live for like 3 days in multiple time zones,
Yeah.
because we did it all in different time zones, which we didn't
Yeah.
really, well, maybe I didn't really think it through. And then so you were never really sleeping for more than 2 or 3 hours, and we'd come back and just talk like this for 4 days.
Straight. I said to Dave, this is way harder than Vegas.
Yeah.
It sounded great in
always
theory.
on.
It's like, yeah, we can do that.
But it was
It's no
like,
problem.
oh.
But
yeah, it sounded really good,
yeah.
and that's the dedication we had, I think, because we wanted the users, we wanted the audience to feel wherever they were in the world, we wanted them to feel part of this event, and for us that meant, like, I remember sitting here
Pain.
and I couldn't open my eyes, and because Claire's got like eye drops. I know she has eye drops, and so I go, I can't open my eyes. I can't open them, and so she's putting eye drops in my eyes while we're about to go on. It was it was a remarkable effort.
It was
It's
a huge
really
Friday.
interesting, right, to look back on that and think, when we're in person. I mean, everyone's got their Garmins, their Fitbits, everything that they're kind of tracking. It was always fun at the end of the week to just see the sleep
The
just
step.
slowly
Oh yeah, and then
down
the
and
sleep
then
was
go
none.
up. And then it's like,
Yeah.
wait, we're at home and I'm sleeping even less. That was
I know,
like a virtual
that's
thing.
what I couldn't get over. It's just like,
But that's the power of, but also the feedback we got.
yeah.
The feedback we got for doing it was a stupid amount of effort. But the feedback we got was like, thank you. This felt live. And so you did some really interesting things. I mean, we did, because we're amazing down here. But this isn't about us. You did some amazing social media things that I think the most B2B marketers never think of. And there's some really good advice for running events, physical and digital, of games that you've done throughout time. Do you want to share some of those crazy moments?
Yeah, I mean, even just starting back to our on-site events, it was really how do you get people engaging, tweeting, using the hashtag. So having a gamification aspect of it. So getting some leaderboards spun up, showcasing all the content that's getting posted across Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Well, not really LinkedIn since you don't like to play anything, but Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. What are people posting? What are they sharing? And let's gamify that. Let's have a leaderboard. So let's encourage people to get out, share, talk about their experience. How they're mingling, networking, and we created that, and it was really well received. We had some trophies actually crafted and created for the people there in attendance, that they were pretty jazzed up to be able to have and get awarded. And I know when I would find these people and say, "Hey, we've got an award for you. Come meet me here. Let's take a picture." They're like, "Wow, this is so cool. This
I
is
loved
mine to
it.
take." It's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
this is totally yours. If you can get it on the plane, have fun. Go display it." And it's really great to see people get excited about that, get them engaged, and again, once you see your name on a leaderboard, you get a lot of competitive folks in a room. It leads to a good time, and then yeah, as you mentioned, so 2020 we had that last event in February, and then March,
Yeah.
the world
Mm.
changed, right?
Yeah.
And I think we had the benefit of having, it didn't probably seem like a benefit at the time, right? But everybody was following us, and they were having to do these events, and like you said, it was just, I don't know what to do. We can't make it engaging. It's going to be online, so let's just pre-record. Let's have everyone standing there reading off a slide, and um, no, it's not fun. I mean, that's not an event that I would want to attend. I don't think either of you would
No.
want to attend. And so
Well, I mean, you
when
just don't need to watch it live.
No.
Like, you don't need to watch it all at once because it's
yeah
all,
yeah
recorded. So
what's
why
the
would you? Why would
what's the
you?
point of showing up live if I can
Yeah.
just come back and I'm going to get the same thing? And
Yeah.
so yeah,
Because I
going
might do a
into
really good keynote and you'd really want to watch it.
Yeah. It's all about you.
but going into 2021 with it being online, it's like, okay, particularly with social media, it was kind of like, oh shit, what are we going to do for this?
Yeah, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
We're not going to have this great venue. There's not going to be a big main stage. There's no networking event. So how do we get people excited and geared up and wanting to take a screenshot of their laptop, right? And post it out, say,
Yeah.
this is what I'm experiencing. So that was in February again. And I love movies. I'm a big movie guy, and that's right around the same time that they have, the Academy Awards. So came up with these ridiculous ideas for themes like a best dressed, I think a best viewing
Yeah.
experience. So I think the best dress is why we got a lot of people dressed up as dinosaurs and unicorns and stuff. But right, there was like the best viewing experience, and I think we got a great photo from down under, actually.
The
Right, it was of
trailers.
the Sydney Opera House. Someone was just
Yeah.
kind of out there sitting on the harbor with the opera house in the background. It was, and
As you do.
they had on the main stage, just like, wow, that is awesome. We had people
Yeah.
watching in the snow from lake houses, at their home, with
Yeah.
perform on like the big screen. There were a couple other ones. There were like 4 different kind of awards that we gave across. I think the best one though was the bobblehead that kind of
Oh,
evolved.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have that.
That is it around? Might be able to have it, but so the background on this was related to the artificial intelligence, which is named Davis, for Dynatrace. And we had a campaign running where we had an actress come in and do some shots for us. And so based off of that campaign, we came up with this, right? We created these, and we hid them in the background of a lot of sessions. So some sessions were recorded, obviously for things that we couldn't actually
Training and
do
recording
live.
purposes.
But even
What
in
is it,
some of the
training
live shots, I
education?
know David, in some of the live shots that you had, there was one of those bobbleheads hidden in the back, and so we asked folks to screenshot, tweet it out, let us know that you've seen this, and we gave away like 10 or 20 of these, and they were hot items. Like there
Mm.
was a lot of participation, and even now people are still asking, like, do you have any of
What is
those
it?
bobbleheads? How can I get a bobblehead? So it was kind of creating this exclusivity with it, but also
Yeah.
making it fun at the same time. And
Mm.
these are all ideas, right? And we can throw them against the wall, and I'm just praying. I hope somebody does anything because I don't know
You
how
know
we're
where
going
I
to carry
think
it.
I think the idea for the bobblehead originally came from when we were sitting around and with the brand team and had a couple of drinks, and someone realized that I got a really big head and a long neck, and they just went bobblehead, and then they went, "Yeah, we should do bobbleheads."
I think one of the things that I was like, we should do, our founder and CTO, Bernd Greifenator, right? Because,
that would
he's
be
on
nice.
main stage and he's
Yeah.
great.
He's a character.
He's one of the most intelligent people that, I'll ever probably meet in my life. And when he's up on main stage, kind of
100%.
just talking about things he's passionate about, he's up, he's moving around, he's very animated. And so it's like, can we do like something with Bernd that we can, like a Where's Waldo, but Where's Bernd? Then it just kind of evolved into.
You should. You should. Yeah, I was joking about me, but yeah, you're right. It was Burnt because he's larger than life.
Yeah,
he's
great.
He's like, and when he speaks, everyone really listens. And in fact, from a leadership and management perspective, I've learned more from him than anyone. Like, he's a remarkable leader, and I think you should do bobbleheads of Burnt. I want one.
I'm not letting it go. I'm determined to eventually make that happen.
Maybe
they'll be hot.
Maybe he's vetoing it.
But this is how we came up with ideas. This is exactly how we came up with ideas. We would joke around, we'd laugh for a bit, and then we'd go, wait a second.
Hang on,
that's actually a really genuinely good idea. Let's do it. And the thing I think is amazing is you would act on it, you would do it. We had the freedom within our group to go, you want to make it happen, go make it happen. If you think it's going to be fun, go make it fun. And there's, even when we did perform, you'd turn up with gamified things that we would just go, we're going to do what? And you would go, that sounds cool.
The first perform you did, John, didn't you have like a little car that you drove?
Oh my God, yeah. No, the Ford F-150 little kids remote control electric car.
It might have just been a Ford 50. I'm not even sure if it's a 150.
I don't. It was a Ford Point 50.
You did some great social media.
It was a kids. It was because I did a presentation.
Yeah,
and it had to do with Ford being a customer and the code in the car, and
I
it was
to source that thing.
It was the biggest flop ever when I pulled it out. I was like, ladies and gentlemen, I've always wanted to get a car on stage. Here it is, and the car goes. Came out on stage, and I swear tumbleweeds were going past. And I just went, I really did a good job of that. We're gonna have to.
You win some, you lose some.
Oh, that was a fail. Whatever was a fail. But then,
but it works.
But then we decided at the very end of the event, and I'll share footage of this for anyone who hasn't seen it and is not watching us on video. I actually have it on my phone because I was looking at it before for some reason. John got in. John got in the car.
Yeah.
It's made for kids. And drove around the event taking videos and waving to everyone saying hi. Like he was getting a...
Yeah, it was good.
It was,
it was your...
I don't even know why I got in there. I think it was like, I think I could fit in there.
Automobile.
I couldn't believe it was driving. I was controlling it with the remote, but you would also be steering it. And then I was trying to remote it into people deliberately. There it is.
It's I bring that up every year, every perform. It's like, all right,
do you?
We're on the road again.
Back on the road again. Where's the camera? There we go.
It was It was a combination of people where this was awesome. Where it's like, is that really a man in a toy car?
Why is that larger than normal sized kid driving around a car at a tech event? And you're like, why not?
Yeah, it's there.
Look at you go. It's in fast forward, obviously.
I don't remember it making that noise.
Neither do I. It's got a squeal. And John, true or false? Because social media, you're on all the time, right? Like you have to be at events. You got to be on all the time.
Yeah.
So is it true that I heard from someone that at a partner conference in Barcelona, it was Friday and the event was still running, and the social media manager left the venue whilst the event was running to go drink sangria? Is this true or not?
Never have I ever. It potentially. I think just visual, so I really can't deny it.
Were you managing social media whilst drinking sangria outside of the venue?
He wasn't.
I may have been.
Never has he ever. And the posts were probably better than they've ever been. No, that was my fault because it would have been a long week and we were all a little bit tired and the partner event should have ended and it didn't. And there was one more session to go. And I said, who wants to go and celebrate the event? And everyone just went.
And it was a hard event. That was like, there were ships going past, so the power would go out.
That's right. It was a difficult event to run. So, John, biggest what has happened? Have you ever had a moment as a social media manager where you go, "Oh crap! Oh no! Oh
Yes,
God!"
yes.
Tell us a couple of the best.
who has not? I will say it.
Me,
Thankfully,
never.
Thankfully, I have never tweeted from a company account about sports when I've been on a rager.
Oh.
It has not happened yet. I probably jinxed myself. So look out within the next 7 days for something about the Celtics to come out from Dynatrace. But
So, actually, can I ask on that? Because Hootsuite, when you're in Hootsuite and you have multiple, you can manage multiple accounts. I would often, you probably don't do this for this very reason. You can put your own personal account in Hootsuite and then you have the corporate one. And when you go to post, you sort of like where you're selecting which email is it coming from.
Yeah.
And so at the time, I was managing HP's account in Australia, right? Just started, first ever we'd been running social media. And I wrote a comment like, maybe it's because I'm an idiot. Like something really, really politically incorrect, right? Thinking it's going to my personal account and then looked and then I go, oh my God. And then I get a message from my PR manager almost immediately going, have you seen our Twitter account? And I'm like, mm-hmm. Deleted it. It doesn't really disappear. No one saw it, thankfully, because like HP, very early days. But have you ever done so? Firstly, do you keep your personal account out of Sprout so you don't make the same mistake?
yes, that is the reason
so
why
you haven't
I do
done
not
that.
put it there.
But
I will say that there was a time when I was at the Game Show Network and so managing the Facebook presence for a lot of IP. So Game Show Network is owned by Sony. Sony also owns Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy. So we were managing.
Sony, that they own Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy.
They do
the game shows.
Yes.
Did you know
blew
that?
your mind?
Well, I didn't, but I'm not.
I thought just the TV networks would own them. Like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and stuff like that. Oh, that's amazing.
Blew your mind.
Keep going, John.
But managing like the Facebook games and the presence and everything, for them. And there was one post that I went out with like Wheel of Fortune, and I think I missed like an E or something, so like a letter in it, and I didn't even realize it. Went about my day, and then there was an email and then a phone call that happened with the executive producer of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, where it just got totally creeped out. Like, how can you misspell this? This is like the foundation, like of our like Wheel of Fortune. You have to spell.
This is the words. Yeah, you didn't miss a vowel.
And so it was like, ooh, this one hurts. Like he was not happy. And I was like, wow, the executive producer is like paying attention to this. So like, this is kind of cool.
He looks at our social account. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
You could have just said,
it's a great story.
I just wanted to test you.
You go home to your wife and you go, hey, I had a meeting with the executive producer today. He knows who I am, which is great.
I just thought it was like, I got completely cleaned out by the executive producer of like Wheel of Fortune. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm glad you're noticing what I'm doing.
But it's like, I will quadruple check all of my spelling.
Yeah, from now on.
To get through. But that's probably like the biggest one that I've had. But it was kind of a big one. A big one. You definitely don't want to be doing stuff where a multi-million-dollar television show is going to be.
Do you get abused at all? Do you get comments like this company sucks? Why do you do this?
You get those across the board. Like no matter where you are, and
they're on my videos probably.
Johnson, no matter where you are.
Someone used to every time I posted a video, didn't they? Someone would dislike it before
one
there was a like.
There was one dislike,
like almost immediately. It's like basically like an algorithm that just went.
It's like they automated it.
Guy. Yeah,
Dave
and John and I used to
dislike.
laugh. Just like this guy. I just like this guy. You got to have a thick skin if you're doing this stuff. So do you get a lot of these comments from people? Like,
throughout my career, like in different places where I've been, you'll get people kind of just commenting. Trolling. Some of them have a valid reason to be doing it. Others they just need a reason to vent. But the thing that, Aldo, is you take everyone seriously because you never know. And, you're,
Yeah.
as a social media
Yeah.
person, like you are usually the one of the
Good
first
advice,
points of
actually.
contact
Really?
for.
Yeah, I think it is
I
for
don't.
us.
Far out. Like the shit on like, I, I,
But you got to
I
think
like
about it, like, right,
Peloton.
you're representing a brand, so like, if you got to take
Yeah.
it seriously,
Oh yeah,
and
you
like
can't
the in
reply.
the and the internet never forgets, like, right. So I mean, there was
Yeah.
something I saw from an airline the other day where somebody
I saw
was
that.
tweeting at them, and it was kind of, yeah, it was pretty
Do
funny. I
you?
won't mention it, but if you search hard enough,
Yeah.
you'll find it.
Do
But
you
yeah,
squirm? Do you squirm for that social media team? Like when you see the response, you go, "Oh, I
yeah.
know what
Some
that would
Takes you
feel
back.
like." The executive producer is
whenever
going to be on the
Yeah, I
yeah,
was gonna
phone
say, does
soon.
it take you back to Will from
whenever
June?
there's like any kind of like big story or negative PR, you always just take a moment and just you feel for that social media team because you kind of know the stuff that they're going to be going through, and it's going to be kind of one of those days. But yeah, you just kind of think about social media now, right? When you have a complaint or you're going for feedback, it's like usually, if you're not sitting next to somebody, you're probably going to social media. You're checking out
Yeah.
their brand page, their Twitter. If you have a complaint, you're,
Mm.
you're not calling up the 800 number or dropping an email. You're going to LinkedIn. You're going to Twitter. You're sending a message and you're putting it out there. So it's a gift and a curse because it gives you real time feedback and you get a pulse on like what your user base is experiencing, if they're having issues or if they're having something that they really enjoy. um, you have it all right there, and if it's something that they're enjoying and you can kind of repurpose that to kind of just share the type of experience that they have, it's great for you. But if they're having a bad experience, if you can take that and turn it into a positive by being responsive, listening to actually what their complaint is, and finding a way to resolve that if you can, even if you ultimately can't get to the resolution that's 100% perfect, you have it all right there on social. Your brand, the people behind your brand are making an effort to try to correct it and fix it. And sometimes it just takes optics. If you're going to make the effort,
Such a
people
good
will
point,
know that
John.
you're trying.
Turn the negative into a positive.
Yeah, sometimes you
How
can't
you
please
handle it,
everybody.
like, I think that's really key, isn't it? It's such a good point. And if you can use the negative and turn it into a positive, it's a pretty special circumstance where you can do that on social media if you have a complaint and it's really bad, but then how you you handle it, and because it's all visible, I think that can be the winner in the end. Sometimes
Mm.
depends on how big the issue is, of course,
Yeah,
but
I remember ages ago someone said you can get more brand affiliation. What's the word? Like brand love or whatever it is. Like you can turn
Yeah,
someone
affinity,
who has
loyalty.
from if they've had a negative experience, and if you turn it into a positive, it's better than they've always just had a positive. They actually
yeah.
have like, okay, they corrected my bad experience, and now I have a lot of love for these people because they seemingly care about me.
Mm.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
you're so good with being responsive.
Mm.
Just like, you must be the best out there, John.
Let's test him out. I reckon we just like because we're
Just
down
start
here now.
stalking you.
Yeah, we'll test him out because we're down here now. We'll just keep randomly posting every now and then in the middle
Yeah.
of the night just to
Yeah.
annoy him, so that he
I
has
don't.
to.
I don't sleep, so I'll see it.
I know
Yeah,
he
you don't.
doesn't.
I was like,
You're on it
I
all times.
yeah.
Best content. What's your best content? Like, what's your advice for people in social media that are like, hey, in all my years of B2B tech, these are the best types of content that work really well on social platforms?
Yeah, people. Just
People.
use your people and real people. Those are always
Good
the things that
answer.
generate the
Mm.
highest engagement, that people are going to comment on, they're going to share, and just like a lot of relatable content. I mean, and that's really the things that people can share, that somebody else in their network can get something out of. You might spend all your time crafting together this fantastic blog, and you think it's the greatest thing in the world, but maybe it's too technical, or it's not something that's applicable for anyone else. So somebody might read it, and that's as far as it goes. But if you have things with people in it, something that they can relate to, it's shareable. Again, people want to engage with that, and particularly as a a B2B, when you're posting stuff on a company page, if everybody can see someone that they've met, they've met them at an event, or they've gone to some sort of a meetup, or they've been on a webinar with them, or it's your colleague or your coworker or someone you used to work with, right? You're going to want to click on that. You're going to want to read the story. You're going to want to share that out because you have some sort of interpersonal connection with them. And I think when
Mm.
social media was created, that was kind of the purpose, to bring people together
Yeah.
and have that kind of social connection. So it kind of baffles me sometimes when brands, particularly like B2B, shy away from that and just get, kind of too in the weeds and just focused on a product or a platform, or, using buzzwords. It's, it's the people behind it
It's
that bring that product to life. So you really have to highlight and tell that story, and make that connection. Because if you
it,
have that personal connection with a brand or a person, it's a lot easier to probably go through and want to engage with that content.
Yeah, it's agile. Like, because the thing with social is it's instant. You can take something and post it immediately. And I think it was funny because there's like two streams in marketing. There's this one. There's like this quarterly release or monthly. We got this big release coming up. We're gonna craft all this stuff. And as a social media manager, you're like, "Oh, are you kidding me? Like this post is gonna be so shit." And you go to and you go like, "Oh yeah, wow, it's really awesome that we did that release and no one cared." But here's me watching perform with a kitten, and it's like, yeah, there you go, look at that, and everyone really liked it. But so it's really important to your point is to be human, be normal, be in the
Absolutely.
moment. And one of the things we did, which I think is good advice for companies, and we didn't like, I don't think we invented anything. Like I'm sure we saw it somewhere where it was like the what do they call it, the not the question hour, like when you just ask me anything. Oh,
Oh
that's
yeah,
what
like
it's
the
called.
Oh
AMAs.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so we just decided because we were all in lockdown,
Oh
we were like, "Hey, John, let's just do a live weekly demo, and just use it as an excuse to catch up." And so we would do that, and we'd get an SE in, sales engineer, solutions engineer, whatever they're called, and get them to demo the technical part of the product, and we would just like tap dance around and have fun while we're doing it, and it was really, really
yeah.
successful,
Well,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's
and then
why.
I think the biggest part of that too, right? Unscripted. There was
Yeah,
Completely.
no
it's
PowerPoint. There were
live.
no slides. It was kind of a general. We're just going to start off, and then choose your own adventure. I think is how we labeled it. Just
Yeah,
people tune in, ask questions,
Yeah,
and it was kind of quickly put together. Let's just again throw it out
very.
there and test it. Which for anything like social media, I think that's what you have to do, because you can craft and plan and figure something out, and you're like, great, it can bomb. And it's usually the things where you just, yeah, let's throw it out there, see if it works, that usually do the best. You don't overthink it. You just kind of go on a gut feel. And it was like I said, yeah, it's conversational. There was no hard sell, no PowerPoint. You're not talking to people. You're not talking at people.
With them.
You're talking to them. You're engaging with them, and
Yeah.
that's I think what people ultimately, no matter where they are, is kind of this want. They want to feel like they're having a conversation and that they're taking something out of it. And
There's
and
still not enough of that. There's still not. There's all this like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the
yeah. The
Dynatrace
whole.
Performer webinar. All lines will be muted. What, like, as soon as someone goes, all lines will be muted, you're like, yeah, well, also my browser's going to be closed. So see ya. Because, like, what we had was we were like, hey, let's, one of the things we did, which was really fun, we're just like, hey, what cities are you guys in at the moment? We want to start a chat. Like, where are you? And there'd be like someone going, I'm on a train in London, and someone goes, I'm in Paris, and they're like, I'm
yeah,
in Dubai, and you're like, oh my god, we're like, I'm in the Midwest, I'm in here, I'm there, and so we created this community of fun of just them picturing all these cities in the world where everyone was, and we started an engagement, and I was bad. I was gonna say I was bad. I'd get people afterwards message, and they would go like, we've had heaps of sales reps come in and see the product, but that's the best demo we've had so far. We're definitely buying. And they'd be like big brands that are saying this. And it's like, because you've opened up and just gone, made it easy for someone to get a demo. It's not a typical B2B sales
Yeah.
cycle where it's like, we'll wait for the account director to come in and let me tell you about the ROI we can generate out of this thing. And I was like, just this is how the product
yeah.
works. It's awesome.
I mean,
You've got to have a good product.
you got to have personality, and then like social media, kind of like what you do, and make it fun, make it timely, make it conversational. And that's everything that I try to do. It can be really hard, like thinking about like Twitter, right? You've got 280 characters to
Yeah.
get something out, and how do you capture and come someone in? But if you can make it witty, if you can tie it into something that's like pop culture, it's like and it's appropriate, go with it, have fun. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
You
what
gotta
people are
have
gonna.
memories.
Somebody might have a chuckle. Someone's gonna stop scrolling because they came across something that's not the norm from what you're seeing from a B2B. So you have to be willing to go out of your comfort zone, think outside of the box, try new things, like bobbleheads, right?
Bubble, yeah, because I moved the bobblehead there. You
And
didn't
he's
see,
like,
but no, I said no. I was like, be careful because I got two of these bobbleheads, and one of them I was mucking around with the head, and it flicked off.
nice.
No, no,
Like,
no, no, no.
yeah, her head
Can't
came
have that.
off, and
Okay, sorry.
it's just a spring. Yeah, her head popped off. That's why I was like,
Okay.
he was mid delivering in a really
I got it,
important
I got it.
thing, and you're like gonna flick her head off, which I should have let you do because that would have been good to watch. And then you
I was
knocked
just
the head
like
off, and I go,
agreeing
great,
with
Claire, that's
John.
really
I
good.
was
Good to have you
agreeing with
back.
him. It's awesome to see you, John. And I really love what you had to say about employee advocacy. I think there should be more of that. And I'd say there'd be hesitation on some level, not with you, others.
Why?
I don't know, the risk of it, and people not being,
Saying the wrong thing on
yeah,
social.
yeah. So I think that's really a really good idea to focus
Yeah,
on.
there's some folks
Really
that get a little
uplifting
bit.
way to finish, Claire. Like you nailed the end. Like you give shit to me for ending podcasts badly, and you basically go, employee advocacy is really there should be more of it,
That's
but
why
people don't
recording
because
can
it's
be good
because
you can
it's
just like cut it
risky.
out.
I'm not cutting it.
Yeah,
We're keeping
I'll
it.
cut it.
Why? Because you want that out because you didn't leave on an up.
No.
She's right there though. She's right. A lot of people just don't do it because they're like, I'm going to say something wrong,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to get fired, or I'm going to lead to the downfall of the company. I mean, thinking about my time in finance,
Yeah.
that was one of the biggest things for legal is individuals kind of saying something that would lead to fines or sanctions or kind of whatever it is. So people
Yeah.
just, instead of risking that, I won't do it. But if you've got a social team or someone who's willing to work with you and kind of coach you, or if you have an advocacy program, it takes away a lot of that fear. Like,
Great
should I be
idea.
posting this or should I not? Like, what should I be saying here or there, whatever it may be? If you've got an advocacy program, it eliminates a lot of that. People have the content that's there. It's in the library. It's been curated. It's been supposedly approved and proofread. So it's good to go. You have copy in there that people can choose to keep or will hopefully tailor at least in their own words. So it's more personalized. But if you take away like the barrier, kind of with everything, like once you take away, something that's holding someone back and you show them that they can do it, they're usually like, give me the keys. I'm off and running.
No.
They don't feel safe and they don't know what to say. But if you can make them feel safe and you can kind of give them that power, like it's the best thing you can do for them.
Such good advice for other social media managers and directors that are listening as well. I think don't block it, like enable them.
Enablement. Yeah. I knew we weren't going to do a podcast that was only 30 minutes long. It doesn't worry me because, I mean, if people want to listen this long, they can. But I just really like chatting. I really like catching up with you.
Yeah.
And us as a group. We had a lot
We're
of
the
great
best.
times working together.
No,
A lot of
miss you
fun
guys.
times.
So far away.
Yeah,
I know.
I know. It feels almost like we're close, but like, because when I left, I don't even think. Did you come over to my house and steal one of my plants?
I think I stole your fridge.
Oh, you got my fridge. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Bit
that's
different
right.
to a plant.
Yeah,
No way.
it was. Well, everyone came over when I was leaving, and the plants obviously had to go. I had a fridge. Why would I have a fridge? I don't even remember why I had a fridge. Did I buy a second fridge or something? I must have. Oh, I
think
did.
you must
Yeah,
have.
I did. Yeah, I had a second fridge. Yep.
Okay.
Does it still work?
It still works.
So.
It is
Oh,
it's a good spot. It keeps the important stuff in there for the winter and the summer.
Gotcha.
Is that beer? Let's go Celtics. That's what mine was for downstairs. I chilled beers, probably more tonic more than anything. And ironically, it was right next to where the gym was in the basement. So that was a bit weird. You go in there and you're like, oh gosh, I'm dying for a drink. It was kind of angling at water, but oh well. Here's a nice
Here it is.
lager. Here's a lager, that'll do. I drink enough tonic. That feels like water. Well, it was good to catch up with you again, John. We miss you. I would love to get back and see you guys in Boston again. It was amazing working with you all, and it's and just even doing those weekly things. Like that was the other thing that was so cool. It's like it just felt like a catch up, and that's why I reckon when people would do the weekly demos with us and jump on, it just felt familiar and it felt fun because we made it fun. Hopefully, they
Yeah.
feel the same about this podcast.
I think especially during that time, that was it was a tough time for everybody. Yeah, you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't see anyone. So to be able to put that kind of out into the world and just do something that was fun, and people learn some stuff along the way, and they become a customer, great. But like you said, just being able to build a community and be able to chat with people and connect in the absence of having that, and being able to see that, hey, this works. Can we keep doing this? Is there something more that we can get out of it? And there still is.
For
It's a
sure.
very articulate answer,
Very,
wasn't
very
it?
deep.
Very social media manager director answer. Like,
very deep.
it is deep.
Most of the time, I have no idea what I'm saying. I kind of black out words just happen.
That's
Put
awesome.
us to shame.
Yeah, that is a shame because you miss your own brilliance. That doesn't happen to me. I say things and I look around and go, oh no, it did come out. I did say that out loud. Oh god.
Yeah, we heard that too.
Yeah,
we'll just forget about it and move on.
Like that swearing. And I swore in that thing because my power came out. That's what happened. I went, oh shit. And I was like, oh god, oh no. And then you're like, how many people could you offend?
Is that a demo?
It was one of those demos, and I was like, oh
yeah. Did we turn that into like a teaser? Because I remember like every week we would cut video, and I think it might have been there when you were starting, and I think I cut that into a teaser but bleeped it out.
People do that. In my last job, they were doing that. I was drinking a fruit box, and they decided they were going to meme me drinking fruit box because I was in the middle of the thing. I don't really care. So I was like,
Dave, I think they're making fun of you.
I think they were in the most sincere way. I think. Otherwise, this has been happening my entire life, and I'm not clued into what's happening.
It made for a viral moment. It was perfect.
Yeah, I'm a my own meme. Well, we should. It was great to catch up with you again, and we miss you down here at Tech Seeking Human HQ. Do you like what we put there? We didn't know what to do because I didn't want to do Dave and Claire. Yeah, and I still have my little bobblehead, which I have in all my little videos. Don't touch your head, Claire. And I'm doing another fantastic job at ending a podcast, which is not good. Like
I just go in and go
chop chop chop.
Don't cut me out. I'll say I've already said I miss you guys. It was fabulous working with you and getting to know you and have so many crazy adventures together. And it's been a blast for I don't know how long you've been doing this, but it flies by because you guys are just awesome. But thank you for the invitation, for having me. It's always fun to chat with you both and kind of connect. And
you're welcome.
I can pretend I know about social media, so anytime I can talk about it, it's always a good time.
Oh, so humble.
Hey, do you remember singing Bohemian Rhapsody in a taxi in Barcelona? It just dawned on me. Wasn't that amazing?
Yeah,
we sounded so good.
We were a traveling
band. I don't think
Julio
thought it was so good. Was it Julio?
I think he did.
Just called him Julio. He loved it.
If he didn't like it, I think he would have asked us to please exit the cab. But
that's true. He liked it.
He was like, "This is great."
The song wasn't actually on though.
Oh,
was it? I think we just all of a sudden started.
It was
singing.
not. Yeah, I think there was something else on, and then we just carried on afterwards with Queen.
Because no one probably knew this. When you started, you said, I think when we were interviewing, that one of your passions was karaoke.
This is true.
Oh, yes. And I still haven't done karaoke with you, John.
Well, we sung in a car in Barcelona, which they then turned into a TV show, which was like, it was we were the inspiration for the TV show of people getting into taxis and singing.
I know. I mean, we were the original carpool karaoke.
That's it. Carpool karaoke. We did it.
Oh, yeah.
In Barcelona. Julio stole the idea. He's now an executive producer on Wheel of Fortune. Oh, God. John, we've really appreciated the time you spend with us. Go Celtics. I will see you on social media tomorrow. I will troll you with positivity. I will be live, so don't hold back.
Okay, I will be. I'll be texting you and live tweeting, and I'll just be a puddle.
Just keep the Dynatrace account out of it, right? No, it's morning. It's like 11. I got some friends coming over. You're welcome to come over and watch it. Yeah, no, please don't. Actually,
zero.
Why are they? What can you imagine? Why? What are they doing now? What are they doing? What are they?
I wouldn't do that during a game.
Oh, why do they throw it? I don't. It should be quite good though, because the NBA is like, you don't need to bounce anymore. We're just going to get rid of the bouncing thing. We just don't worry about bouncing. There's no such thing as travel.
Don't get me started.
But even Jaylen Brown did it in the other game. He got fouled technically. Like he got fouled, which caused the travel. But I'm like, they didn't call the foul or the travel.
Again, don't get me started. I just came ramped down from all this.
We'll let you go, John. It's been awesome.
It's been
Claire's
a pleasure.
trolling you on Twitter right now.
No, not you, John.
Sure, I'm gonna go look right now. All right, guys. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
See you, bud.
All right, talk to you later.